Donna, what made you want to write this book, you three girls?
Well, okay, so I was actually just minding my own business one day, and my phone blew up, and it's Tom, my dad, and he's out on a date with her, and he says, we just got the most wonderful, amazing idea. Okay, so you know that over at our wheelhouse at Skywatch Television is, you know, what is the Pope up to, and all these obscure, like, theologies, and all of these, like, really, really deep, and he says the thing that we miss is how to empower a person to say, I've been called by God, but I feel unqualified. I feel disqualified for what God has called me to do. I feel like a misfit. And so we follow, this is actually Tom's brainchild. He was so passionate about this book, but he said, Nita got this great idea. What if you started off the premise? Because it will be around Christmas. The book is not only a Christmas book by far. I mean, we do talk theology. We go in so deep into Moses. It's insane how much Moses was a misfit. The guy is so misunderstood. And but ultimately he said, we got this idea. Nita got this idea. You know, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and the island of misfit toys.
Yes.
How there is this island where everybody feels like they are never going to amount to anything, and they're all broken, and therefore they're useless.
Yeah.
But in this particular cartoon,
that's so good.
They are the center of the plot.
Yeah.
Now I gotta say this. In fact, I gotta say this for Kimberly because she begged me last night over a text to say this. There's this moment that people in this country do not realize what this happened, but Rudolph makes a promise in this movie by Rankin and Bass, the 60s movie of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh, yes.
He makes a promise that he's
grew
gonna
up with it. Your mom and I grew up with it.
I did too.
I
Yeah.
mean, we all watched
Yeah,
it
we all did.
every single Christmas time.
Yeah. He makes a promise that he is going to go rescue the island of misfit toys and find them homes. In the first original release, he does not make good on that promise. The very, very first original release, that first year, they never go back to the island. Now, this is before the internet. This is before people could go on and troll every company that they're mad at and you know, petition things online and tell everybody, go to www.whatevertheworld.com to tell them you're angry. This is before any of that existed.
Wow.
And what they had to do to tell them that they were mad is literally write a handwritten letter and say, I demand that Rudolph come back for the island of misfit toys. And this was a movement. The book goes into, it talks about it. This was a movement that sparked out of it was peppered all across the United States. People, viewers all over said, I'm not happy with this. You get your your puppet animators out of Tokyo and you bring them back, and I demand you refilm this ending.
So you're talking about the 1960s when it first came out, the very first?
They did not come back for the island of misfit toys. So the whole country erupted. But what's the point? Why am I saying that? Why does that matter? Because the world identifies as misfits. We all do. And when you abandon the misfits, it sends the wrong signal, and the world was not going to stand for that. So they said, listen up, Rankin and Bass, we're misfits too. You get those men from Tokyo out there, you fire up your cameras, and you fix that ending, and he did. So that's what a lot of people don't understand. But then Tom, he felt so strong about this idea that we would take each one of the Island of Misfit toys, the Charlie in the box. What were some of the other ones?
The elephant with Spot, the dolly for Sue that had nothing wrong with her. There's the nesting dolls that has the weird wheels. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah, the train with the square caboose. And there's all these things, and if you look at that from a modern perspective and you say each one of these toys thinks they're broken, but each one of these toys, as it so often is, church, listen, these toys have not been called to be everybody else. These toys were made by their maker to be exactly what they were. So when we look at that, we go, oh my gosh, I'm also the squirt gun that shoots jelly. You're shooting substance that the rest of those squirt guns can't be shooting. So sometimes God says, listen, you are not meant to fit the mold. You're meant to break it. And when he does that, take it and run with it. Be bold in what you've been called to do.